Hello and welcome to Matt's Reloading Bench. Today I'm out at the range and I've got my 6.5 PRC Seekins Havak HIT. I've got a new barrel on it, a new scope, and a new trigger. I have not shot it yet with this entire new setup, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run a couple of factory rounds through it and check the barrel just to make sure that everything is okay. And I want to see what kind of groups I can get potentially with just some factory ammo, but I'm also looking to zero out my scope too. So stick around, let's see how everything goes.
So here I'm going to remove the bolt so that I can look down the bore, and then I'm going to line up the bore with a target and then look through the scope to make sure that everything is on par with where the bore is lining up with.
All right, looks like bore sighting wise, I'm pretty close. I should at least be on paper.
With this being a new scope on the rifle, I'm going to have to adjust the cheek comb to make sure that it's at the right height and proper forward or rear location, so that when I rest my cheek on it, I've got good sight alignment with this scope. Now that I've successfully taken my first shot with my new setup, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the scope so that I can get the crosshairs to meet where the bullet put a hole in the paper. After the second shot, I'm pretty much right where I want to be. Now I'm going to fire a few more rounds through the barrel just to see if there's any issues and to see what kind of consistency I can get. At this point I realized that my lab radar isn't working and it's not picking up any of the shots that I've fired thus far.
It didn't pick up any of the shots.
Huh?
Didn't pick up any of the shots.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have it on?
Of course.
So just to verify that the lab radar wasn't working, I went ahead, fired another round just to see if any reading is being taken place.
Didn't pick that one up either.
That ain't good.
You gotta move it closer.
So at this point I tried adjusting the placement of the lab radar, took a few more shots, and I'm still not getting anything for readouts, and things are just not looking good.
Nothing.
At this point, I just don't know what to do.
I ran a few shots through the barrel using some Hornady match ammo. Now I'm gonna check it out, see what it looks like with the bore camera.
I've put up a snapshot of what the inside of the barrel looks like after those few rounds that were shot. Overall, I am pretty happy with how everything looks at this point. At this point, I was planning on cleaning out my rifle and then shooting a 5-shot group just to see what I could get. Unfortunately, I brought everything except for my cleaning patches, so I'm going to go ahead and just shoot a 5-shot group anyway and see what can happen.
Nope.
I realized that I was making an error with the stuff that I had set up to shoot.
I didn't realize it until I was actually having issues at the range. I went to the range. I had my ladder test ready. I had all my equipment set up, and I could not get my lab radar to get readouts. Well, come to find out, there was just enough juice in the batteries in it where it would turn the unit on and make it look like it was working, but there just wasn't any juice to pick up any Doppler signal from the bullets themselves. You know, so I was a little frustrated because I was out there, I had the stuff all loaded. I didn't really know what to do. Should I shoot it because I'm there and just go off of group size? But then that would totally negate my entire reloading process that I'm used to doing and that I've done on a very consistent basis. That's worked very well for me. What I ended up doing was I shot about 20 rounds for two purposes. Number one is I wanted to make sure that there was nothing wrong with my barrel. And number two, I wanted to see what kind of group sizes that I could get. I am actually pretty happy. This is the first 5-shot group that I shot with this new barrel and rifle setup. Like I said, because the lab radar was down, I have no idea what my muzzle velocities are or what I'm getting for extreme spread or standard deviation. Now, in regards to why I'm loading right now is I'm trying to figure out a good recipe to at least get my feet wet for F-class open competition shooting. This is where I realized what my error was. I wanted to use Reloader 26. I was so excited to use it because I finally got my hands on it. And I've got 3 pounds of it. And there is the problem. I've only got 3 pounds of it. So if this turns out to be a great recipe, that's fine and dandy. But how far through the season is it going to get me, or will it even get me far enough where I can find it again? Because I haven't seen Reloader 26 on a store shelf except for this one time in 4 years. And I can't do anything with that simply because of the lack of availability. If I go through all this load development and shoot around and it turns out to be really good, where does that leave me? I got one good round or one good match. Now I'm going to have to do it all over again anyway because I won't have any more, or I won't have enough. Because typically speaking, by the time that I'm done doing my load development, I've gone through at least half a pound of powder. I still won't have enough powder to get me through multiple matches throughout the year. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to using H1000 because I've got about 9 pounds of it. That will get me through a few matches for sure, if not the entire season. I'm actually quite sure I'm going to get through the entire season because I really don't know how many matches I'm actually going to be able to get to or shoot at. So with that being said, I've got everything figured out for the H1000 as far as my charge weights. I'm starting at 56, I'm going up to 57.2 in 0.2 of a grain increments, 5-shot groups each. I'm using the same seating depth that I found for the Reloader 26 because right now the seating depth is irrelevant. As long as I'm not into the lands and grooves, that's all I care about. What I have going on is I've got my bullet seating die set so that it goes 20 thousandths less than touching the lands and grooves. You know, having a sub-half MOA group for the first 5-shot group out of a rifle, I'm very happy with that. And especially considering that I was not at any point into any load development except for trying to figure out powder charges. I will find what powder charge gives me the best extreme spread and standard deviation by using the chronograph, which I have put new batteries in. When I'm able to figure out which has the best, then I'll be able to start working on group sizes by adjusting bullet seating depth. And then I'll be able to take it one step farther and start messing around with the barrel tuner that I have, which is something that I've never used before. So that's going to be all new territory for me, and I look forward to tinkering with that as well. I'll go ahead and get this all loaded up, and tomorrow morning I'll head out to the range. Stick around. So I made it out to the range. I've got everything set up. I'm going to go ahead and run my 5-shot groups for powder charge testing. Hopefully I don't have any issues with this guy. So let's find out. This 5-shot group is going to be with 56 grains of H1000. It's at this point that I realized that the chronograph is completely screwed and going to be useless. And because of that, so is all of the shooting that I have set up that I will now have to stop. There's nothing left for me to do until I replace my chronograph with a different one. And until I can get that figured out, you're going to have to stay tuned. If you have any questions about this video, please let me know in the comments section below. Also, hit that thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you like my videos. And subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified when my next video does come out. And until next time, shoot straight and be safe.